some of the biggest car manufacturers of the world have invented new technologies that could save the internal combustion engine. And starting to this, the Porsche has recently patented brand new 6-stroke. Yeah, you heard it right. A 6-stroke internal combustion engine, promising more power and reduced emissions. Toyota, on the other hand, wants to start burning hydrogen to save the planet. Ferrari is working on a new turbocharged and supercharged inline 6. But the catch is, it only works when it's upside down. Some of this stuff is really gonna be pretty crazy, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. I am Parth, and you're watching MotorNation. Porsche isn't giving up on the internal combustion engines anytime soon, as it has already invested heavily in the segment of e-fuels, which are the carbon-neutral synthetic fuels made from the carbon dioxide captured using the atmosphere. And now it has went a bit further with a new 6-stroke engine. There is also a new secret in the patent stating that which car would use the revolutionary engine. But before we move ahead, we need to talk about the basics of engines. The 4 steps that happen inside a normal 4-stroke engine, which include intake, compression, power, and exhaust. In the intake stroke, the piston moves down inside the cylinder to let the air-fuel mixture get inside. Then it moves back to mix this mixture of air and fuel and squeeze it, which is known as a compression stroke. Then a spark plug ignites the fuel on the 3rd stroke, which causes the mixture to expand and also known as the power stroke. That pushes the piston down, and when it comes back, it again blows off the residual as an exhaust stroke. In short, this means that the engine makes power only once in the 4-stroke process, but Porsche's new engine reduces the power twice in the 6-stroke cycle. And by calculation, it means that each piston is helping to drive the car 33% of the time instead of the 25% in the conventional 4-stroke engines. And what this engine does is intake, compress, power, intake, power, and exhaust stroke. Meaning you get 2 power strokes instead of just 1 as the conventional 4-stroke engine. But the question arises is how does it all work with just 1 compression stroke? This is all because of the new crankshaft design. Looking at the patent images, you can understand each piston is connected to a crankshaft via a connecting rod and 2 new gears that are placed within it. One of the gear is smaller and another is a bit larger, which is on the engine block itself. With the spinning of the crankshaft, the smaller gear rotates inside the larger gear, thus alternating how far the piston can move up or down with each revolution. In a normal 4-stroke engine, the piston always reaches the top dead center, which is the top point, and the bottom dead center, which is the low point. While on the other hand, the Porsche's new design allows the piston to move further up and down on every 3rd rotation. But why does this sound so important? And that's because it allows the Porsche's new engine with an extra intake stroke while simultaneously blowing out the exhaust stroke at the same time. And Porsche made it possible using the extra vents in the design, which they call as scavenging ports, which are cut into the bottom of each cylinder. During the first 3 strokes, the piston doesn't drop below these ports. It just takes the intake, compresses it, and burns it like a normal engine. In the 5th stroke, The gear allows the piston to drop below these ports for a brief moment, meaning fresh air and fuel can be forced into the cylinder while the exhaust gases are pushed out of the cylinder using the exhaust valve. This results in Porsche's engine to compress fresh air and fuel more quickly than a conventional 4-stroke engine. And the game is, sooner you burn the mixture, more power is what you get. And this way, you can reduce the particulate and carbon monoxide emissions, since you are using the second stroke to burn out any of the extra fuel that was left behind in the first one. So which kind of car will this engine appear in? Well, it probably won't be an SUV, since Porsche has recently revealed the new electric Macan. Plus, it's also working on an electrified flagship which will be bigger than a Cayenne. And adding to this, we also know that the next Boxster and Cayman are going to be electric. So no SUV or a small mid-engine car. But here, the patent comes to help, as a small line could reveal everything. As this engine is going to have more moving parts as compared to a traditional one, it's gonna be difficult to balance the vibrations from each and every cylinder moving in various directions. But Porsche is good in mathematics and has already done the calculation that this engine would work fine or the best in 3, 6, 9 or 12 cylinder formats, basically meaning any multiples of 3. But since it's not an SUV and Panamera is sooner gonna be a pure electric, then it just comes to the one remaining in the race, which will be the obvious choice for the 6-cylinder, 6-stroke engine, which is none other than the future 911. This is because Porsche is already using the 911 GTS as a test bed for a turbo hybrid setup. And so, why not to use the 911 to test this revolutionary engine? And a test on this makes sure that Porsche's iconic car keeps the legacy of internal combustion engines in power for as long as possible. Officials at Porsche have also said that the 911 will be the last Porsche to go electric ever has to. And that's all for today, guys. This is Parth signing off, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and do let me know what you think of it in comments. Click on the video window to watch some of the other interesting videos and click on the MotorNation logo so you never miss our new videos anymore.